All right. Hello, everyone. It is noon on October 4th, 2021. Oops. And today I get to do a $14 recap. I managed to make a little bit of money on XENE for just a really quick trade. I think I bought it 1 minute and sold it the next. And then MRK, I actually wound up trading 140 shares on MRK, or no, 240 all combined. I'll just go over it. It was a mistake to trade. Like, I thought that I was buying 20 shares, and for whatever reason, my platform defaulted to 100 shares on me. Turned out to be okay. It actually helped me get out of the trade, basically break even. I'll just go over it here. And actually, let me look at the timestamps real quick because I've kind of forgotten. Oh, it doesn't have my open. So annoying. It doesn't have my open time. So I bought these 40 shares. I bought 20 of them pre-market, another 20 after the open, and then these 100 after it crossed above a Fibonacci level. Let's just kind of look at it here. Okay, so this morning I bought 20 shares at $84.55 pre-market right here, right in here. And I was like, okay, it came down, it tested this $84.34, which was a high from the previous day, from Friday, so it broke that. So I was like, okay, it's breaking, we've got price action above this high up here. It's going to keep climbing. It didn't. And so then I was like, okay, let's see where, where's the next good place to enter? And so it crossed, this is the 10-minute. Let's go to the 1 minute. It crossed, it opened, its opening price. I put the Fibonacci at its opening price right here, which is roughly $84.18. Let me look at the level 2. It's a little bit easier than the chart, actually. Yeah, opened at $84.17. And so when it crossed back above $84.17, I'm sorry. It crossed above $84.17 right here, started going up, and then started to just drop. So I'm like, okay, what's the deal? All right, so then it dropped down below the 75% level that I like to use. I actually hit the 61.8 fib, I think on the nose. No, it just barely, it almost went to the 61.8 fib, just missed it. And then crossed back above the 75. And so this is where I thought I'd bought another 20 shares. This is where I thought I'd put in an order for another 20 shares. But it turns out I put in an order right here for 100 shares. My platform defaulted to 100. I could have sworn I typed in 20, the price, and then 20 shares, but for whatever reason it defaulted to 100. After it crossed back up above, I put an order in at $83.51. Is that right? Let's see where the Fibonacci is. $83.49 is where I put my order in. So it crossed back above and actually came down and filled me, and dropped below my order price. It was like, it's okay, And then it rose up. I was like, oh crap, I'm in this for 100 shares. That wasn't the plan. And so it got basically just above break even. This 140 shares right here got just above break even. I was like, screw it, I'm out of this, and I let it go. I was like, so let's see, 27.62 subtracted from 30.96 is $3. So it's like, okay, whatever. I'm out of this stupid trade. This stock just won't behave. This is the second day that I've tried to play it, and I think this will make this 140 shares would make like the fifth trade that I've tried to make on it. And it's just not working. And so then I'm like, okay. So I was watching this thing, and here's the opening price right here, $84.17. And so I was like, okay, and so I went for it with 100 shares this time, and it broke above its open. Whenever something breaks above its open, it's like, okay, we're going above the open, we're going higher. We've cleared out the sellers here. When something breaks above its open, after dropping down, the sellers, here are the people who are taking the profits. Okay, yeah, you got your profits, all right. Now let's make some money. Let's buy this thing up. Let's get it, to push to its next level over the opening. Well, so I wound up letting it go for looks like a 9-cent loss. Unfortunately, I was in right here. I made a run to 84.55, so it made about a 0.5% move up profitably, but then started petering out, and I was like, okay, screw it. I'm out of this thing. I hate this stock. 9-cent loss, $9, no big deal. Live to play another day. Get into a better setup. And so XENE this morning, I had my doubts about XENE, and here's the let's go to the 10-minute. It'll be a little bit easier to see. Here's the little drawing I put up on XENE as what I thought was going to happen. It didn't work out that way, actually. XENE decided to do something different, and so let's see. I think it's right in here in this candle 24. I think it's right inside of this green candle right here, where I decided to buy. I don't remember exactly where it was, but I was like, okay, here's this tiny little pullback right here, tiny little pullback right there, and then the price to break out above the pullback was 29.22. Let's see what my time frame is here. I think that's where it was. 11:22 and 49 seconds. 11:22. Yeah, that's the 11:22 candle. In 49 seconds. This thing, so it closed, let's see. Closed at 29.67, and it broke above at 29.22, and then went as high as 29.67, and I made 19, basically, I made 20 cents on it. You can see here on 100 shares total, 19, yeah, I made 20 cents on it, so, I hit a 20-cent momentum move, and so I had to have sold it pretty quickly. I don't remember where I bought it. I think it was right around 29.30, I think, and it was running. It went up to 29.67 and then started to fall back. And so before it fell back too far, basically below where I bought it, before it did that, I was like, okay, screw it, I'm out. I'm taking profits. Tiny trade, super low risk, super fast. I didn't feel comfortable going into this thing with any kind of size, and so I traded 100 shares. But that was kind of the thing about the day. I'm going to bring up. Let me pull up the small cap. Here's what my small cap scanner looked like this morning when I came into the office. XENE was the leading gapper, and the float size is 37.5, roughly 38 million shares. Now, I don't like large floats like that. I want floats that are 10 million shares or less, which the second leading gapper was ESBK with 2.78 million shares of a float, but it was an acquisition. It was up 66% pre-market, and it only had 53,000 shares traded pre-market. XENE had 2.46 million shares traded pre-market on a float of 37 million or 38 million. 2.46 million pre-market isn't too bad. That's not going to be too crowded, but still pretty crowded nonetheless. This thing was pretty choppy. Even this run from 25.34 to 28.22, that was actually a pretty good little spot to have gotten involved. Here's the open at 26.51. So from 26.51 to 28.40, that would have been a pretty good spot to have gotten in for a trade right there. But I just wasn't paying attention to it because I don't like the large float. and small cap momentum has been really tough lately. So here's my prediction on ESBK, and that's pretty accurate here. Let me get rid of the brush marks here. Yeah. So you can see it's just kind of a straight line. This one doesn't even look like it has any kind of variation. Yeah, there's like no price variation to this at all. That's the way it goes with acquisition. It's just dead flat. So there's nothing there to trade. So those were the. Actually, I had another stock. No, here's my large cap scanner, and there's just really nothing going on. Okay, here we have a gap on GH, AES, and SSL, but look at the volume, pre-market volume, 3,500 shares, 67 shares, 570 shares. There's absolutely nothing reliable about pre-market activity like that on a bullish setup. There's nothing. There's nothing there. So I wound up going to my large cap mover, or I have I'll just show it to you here. I call it large cap movers. And look, it's just almost completely red all the way down the line. Now, I was looking at Energizer. Energizer is one of the stocks that I had up this morning. But if you look here, I'm looking for a break of this 39.99 right here. And actually, this is 39.91 this morning. I think that was the previous day's high. But I moved it over to 39.99 because if you look at the daily, here's this little bit of a run up and then a consolidation. So this thing might actually have room to run, and if the larger market, like the S&P, decides to turn around and start moving north from here, then Energizer might actually have a little bit of a breakout move here to make it. Came down below this support and resistance line that I had drawn from who knows where, recovered it, and then it's important somehow. This support and resistance line. I mean, I do make good lines on my charts. It's come back above and is confirmed and open above it. So it looks like this could be a short-term bottom at least. So there's some relief up to the upside on Energizer. I mean, it does put up decent numbers, and it pays a dividend. I think its margins are horrible or horrendous. But the thing it does do, it's bound to do something in renewables and auto here eventually. There's bound to be, there's bound to be some kind of participation among either Duracell or Energizer, or I don't know who else, what other major battery company there is out there, Die Hard. I don't know what the name of the battery is, battery brands there are, but they're bound to do something with electric vehicles, robots, and so on and so on. There's bound to be something there for these big battery companies coming around. I don't know what it is. I haven't seen anything. I haven't done any research on it. This is just totally speculative on my part, but it seems to make sense to me. Anyway, this might be a buy. Maybe if it closes above and then comes back and retests and then starts to move higher again, then I'll look for an entry on Energizer. But today, there was just no trade really. So I wound up moving my support and resistance, or my support level here to 39.99. It did make the break, but I mean, look, it's gone as high as $40.06. So a 7-cent move. I mean, there's really nothing there to trade. I mean, could be an entry, but I don't know yet. Let's see, DBGI. So I went ahead and actually started doing a little bit of buying here. The S&P, the levels I have on the S&P are 42.85 for support and 44.95 for resistance. And so it has come down into the support level and bounced away. Here it is. I don't know if that's going to hold today or not, though. I don't know. I mean, this could be when you get a move like this, let's go to the 10-minute. It's a little bit easier to see on the 10-minute. Let's see, 9:30 in the morning is right here. And so when you get a move like this, and then the consolidation period right here, usually the continuation is to the downside, is the continued downside. Now, so today, this is where the risk level is. This is where, the gyration and the fractal geometry, puts the number for support today is at 42.85. So, trust the process, risk, and then risk manage. So, we'll see how it works out. So I did do a little bit of nibbling on stocks today. I bought a DBGI down here around 270, just 100 shares, just getting started. MRIN, I wanted to get MRIN down here at 759. It didn't hit 759, came close. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer. If MRIN crosses back above this Fibonacci right here, the 61.8 fib, and I don't have a position in it, I'm not going to be forced to chase, but I will buy. I will buy 100 shares. I will get started, even if it does come back up above this 61.8. I will buy 100 shares to get started at least. What I'm looking for is in the next couple of days, next few days, is for it to come down here into this 25% zone right in here to get started on a position and investing in it. For long term, probably. Well, I don't want to say long term. For at least a swing trade. All right, AFRM. AFRM. I did do a little bit of buying here at AFRM at this Fibonacci level, 108.55. I think it is. Let's go back and look. Yeah, 108.55. That's hard to see. It's hard to see because of the graph. Yeah, 108.55 right there. So I am starting to average into a position on AFRM. I'll probably buy 20 shares at a time until I get to 200 shares. Looking for the broader indexes to turn around. Let's look at the NDX here too. Don't think the NDX came down to, yeah. So I've got 14,300 as the fractal geometric spot for this sort of repeating pattern to repeat itself and start repeating itself. And looking for a pretty good bounce from there, actually. I'm looking, once it gets to the bottom of a risk range, I might hang around there for a little bit, kind of in that general area, but then after it starts moving in the other direction, the sort of ebbs and flows that happen in the market. Looking for a move to the top end of the range, at which point I will sell a portion of the position I started in AFRM. Same thing with, even though the DBGI it's actually listed on the NASDAQ, but even though DBGI is on the NASDAQ, I used the S&P to time my purchase on DBGI. So that's AFRM, Merck. I just really suck at trading Merck. I don't know, maybe I'll just never try. I'll just be a spectator on Merck for a while. Energizer, JWN, this is Nordstrom. I am looking for Nordstrom to come down here to this technical level, $24.84. I'm looking for a bounce down there. Then Invax, I was watching Invax for the possibility of it hitting this technical level here. 181 is the previous day's close. There's this big red candle, there's a big down day here, but most of it is wick, and so buyers stepped in right here. So that means buyers are in control right now. Let me do that. So let's try something different here. Let's try. Where's the square? There's a square around here somewhere. I used it on a previous chart. Rectangle, that'll work. So right in here, there we go. This big tail candle, that didn't really work out as like I'd want. Anyway, if it's hard to see, I know it's kind of hard to see on a like a small phone or something like that. Let's see if I can find some settings. Wick. I don't see anywhere where I can control the size on the wick. Symbol, trading events, scales. There's got to be a way I can make the wicks a little bit thicker. It's probably a line there's a red line right here that's probably too thin, and it extends from the bottom of this red body area down here to this yellow dotted line. But basically what that means is buyers are in charge in this area, unless it gets to a resistance area and then turns around and goes the other direction. And that's kind of what I was looking at today at 181.60. So if it like it did back here, actually this isn't a good example because it's not regular hours, but if it popped up during regular hours like this above 181.60 and then got rejected, then I'd be looking for a move down to one high 150s or low 150s. I had a really good trade on this on Friday, and this thing's bound to give some more opportunities to sell it, to go short on it. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, that's like everything that I was looking at this morning. These are the scanners that I had up. There's just really nothing going on the scanners. Just nothing there for large cap or small cap. Yeah, there's a large cap, just no volume with these gappers. So there's nothing to pay attention to really. And then everything else is just moving super slow. I did make some moves into for my portfolio, but nothing for a trade. So yeah, that's it. That's the day. All right, everybody. Good luck out there. Keep your risk tight. Click like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, tap the bell, and I will see you on tomorrow morning's strategy session. I am out.